Good evening and welcome, everyone. My name is Brother Chris. I'm here tonight on this fine Friday. It's August 27th, 2010. We are live here at Aramaic Broadcasting Network, ABN, and we are here to bring you tonight's show, which is called Debate Night. We're excited to have this program to you tonight. So stand by and be ready, because we are going to be giving all of you out there a chance to call in and speak to our two debaters. One is a Muslim apologist and another is a Christian apologist, and we will give each of them an opportunity tonight on this program called Debate Night, a chance to talk about the topic of tonight, which is, has the Quran been perfectly preserved? Okay, that is the question for tonight. Has the Quran been perfectly preserved? Again, I'm Brother Chris, and we're excited to bring this program to you tonight. Right now, I'd like everyone to, if you're watching tonight, just get settled in for the next 90 minutes. We've got a number of things to cover tonight, a number of things to announce, a number of things to bring to you. And go ahead and call a friend and call an enemy if you like. Call someone up and get them in front of the television or even on the internet at www.abnsat.com, which is where you can watch this program if you don't have a digital satellite feed in your home or business or wherever you happen to be tonight on this fine Friday in August, the last Friday of the month of August 2010. But we are excited here, in this place where we have this program to bring forth this important topic. Again, the name of the title of tonight's program, has the Quran been perfectly preserved? And again, we're going to give each of our apologists, our Muslim and our Christian apologists, an opportunity. And let me go ahead and take the opportunity right now to introduce I'll actually give a quick bio on our Muslim apologist as well as our Christian apologist. Our Muslim apologist, his name is Osama Abdallah. He's no stranger to our program. I'm going to go ahead and read a short bio on Osama Abdallah, and he will be calling in by phone tonight, and we will give him an opportunity to speak, as well as our Christian apologist, who I will introduce in just a couple of seconds here. Osama Abdallah is the owner and webmaster of this website, which is www.answering-christianity.com and www.quransearch.com. He has a master's degree in computer science, and he is married. He has also more than 10 years of computer experience, or 10 years of experience in comparative religions between Islam and Christianity. And he's done a number of debates with several scholars. So, Osama Abdallah, that's your bio. Can we have a quick call out tonight? Are you there, Osama?
Yeah.
I didn't quite hear that. Could you give us a quick greeting?
Yes, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, Brother Chris. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Good to hear your voice, and we're excited to get you and our Christian apologists speaking in a minute or so. And that Christian's apologist's name is Nabil Qureshi. Nabil is sitting in our studio right here, whereas Osama is calling in. Nabil is here with me to my right. I will go ahead and read Nabil's bio. Dr. Nabil Qureshi is a former devout Muslim who was convinced and is convinced of the truth of Christianity through apologetics and a spiritual search for God. Since his conversion, he has dedicated his life to spreading the gospel through teaching, preaching, writing, and debating, which he'll do tonight. Nabil has given lectures at universities and seminaries throughout North America, including the University of Ottawa, Eastern Virginia Medical School, Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, Southeast Christian Seminary, and Old Dominion University. His focus is on the foundation of the Christian faith and the early history and teachings of Islam. Nabil has participated in 13 public debates and is currently co-director of Acts 17 Apologetics Ministries. He holds an MD from Eastern Virginia School of Medical School and an MA in Christian Apologetics from Biola University. Welcome, Nabil Qureshi. Dr. Qureshi.
Thank
Good
you,
to
brother.
see you tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we've given you a quick intro. We've talked the topic about tonight. We've introduced both of our debaters, our Muslim debater, his name is Osama Abdallah, and a Christian debater, that would be Dr. Nabil Qureshi. And at this point right now, I'm going to give the format of the program. Now that we've done through the introductions and the bio of each of our participants, we will give our opening statement. Our first 5 minutes of the opening statement will be given to our Muslim apologist, and that would be Osama Abdallah. He will have 5 minutes to make an opening statement. Then Dr. Nabil Qureshi will have 5 minutes to make his opening statement. Then we'll have a rebuttal from our Muslim, Osama Abdallah, and he will speak for 5 minutes. And then a rebuttal from Dr. Qureshi. And then after that, just before we go to break, I will make some announcements on some upcoming programs, some events and happenings that are going on here at the ministry at ABN. And then we'll go to break. After the break, which is just a couple minutes, we'll be going to a shorter, quicker pace portion of the program. Each of our debaters, our Muslim and Christian, will be given a crossfire, a 2 minute each, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, and then 5 minutes and 5 minutes, respectively, opening or crossfire comments. And then we will go to closing statements from our Muslim and our Christian. And I'll be reminding everybody as we go through this. And toward the end of that second break, just before we go to our second break, we're going to give about 9 minutes to everyone out there in our viewing audience an opportunity to call in and to get your questions ready. And what I'm going to have you do is, number one, we're going to have you give us your name. Secondly, we're going to have you tell us who the question is directed to. And lastly, we're going to ask you to make one question, not two or three, not extra comments, because we have a very short time frame. We're going to have you call in your name, who you want to direct the question to, and what the question is. We're going to give a fair amount of time to each of our debaters to respond. Possibly, if necessary or appropriate, we're going to give the other a chance to respond to that response, and then we'll get through this as quickly as we can. We hate to be we hate to rush people, but we need to be efficient with our time. And then into the third break, which is our last half hour, it'll be primarily open lines for the whole time, giving everybody in the audience, and hopefully the audience will increase as the time increases, an opportunity to call in, make comments, really ask the questions, I should say, and then we'll just keep moving along. And before you know it, we'll be at 9:30, ready to start our Friday night. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Osama Abdallah, if you are there, we would like to start right now and allow you to give us your opening statement for tonight. Go right ahead, and I'll give you the 1 minute cue or so just before you're finished. And go right ahead, please.
Thank you, Brother Chris.
You're welcome.
Nice to meet you again, Nabil. And welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, sir. Okay, I'm going to start. Allah Almighty said in the Noble Quran that He will personally protect the glorious Quran from corruption, man's corruption, and alteration. In Noble Verses, chapter 15, verse 9, and chapter 75, verse 17, Allah Almighty said, "Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun." We have without a doubt sent down the message, and we will assuredly guard it from corruption. And he said also in 75 verse 17, "Inna alayna jam'ahu wa qur'anahu." It is upon us to collect it and compile it and to recite it, and its recitation, in other words. It's God Almighty's responsibility, and God will design it and let it happen. But Allah Almighty also said in another noble verse that He will determine which noble verses will be collected and preserved here on earth. Because every word Allah Almighty speaks, whether directly to a prophet or to the angels or to the demons or to even to earth, planets, stars, what have you, any command that God gives is preserved in the divine tablet, okay, باللوح المحفوظ, as mentioned in the glorious Quran. But Allah Almighty said in Noble Verses, chapter 87, verses 6 through 8, that He commanded the Prophet not to forget what is recited to him, except for what Allah wills. So Allah Almighty clearly said in the glorious Quran that not necessarily every single verse will be preserved. Some of them might be just given temporarily to the Prophet for certain situations and then pass away. Similarly to the Qudsi Hadith, they're not Quran, but they're divine revelations or inspirations, and also the Prophet's sayings as well. So that's that. And Allah Almighty, and this is, by the way, further proven in Allah Almighty's divine revelations in Noble Verse, chapter 4, verse 163, when He said that He sent previous Qur'ans or revelations to the prophets, many prophets from Noah and up, Prophet Noah and up. And many of those revelations, in fact, most of them, we don't have them today. We don't have Ishmael's Quran, and we don't have Noah's Quran and Abraham's and the others. So that's clearly stated in the Holy Quran. And as I said, Allah Almighty said that all of His divine commands are preserved in the Lawh al-Mahfuz, in that tablet preserved. That's in Noble Verse, chapter 85, verses 21 and 22. Now let me get into the history of the Quran's compilation and preservation. The Quran was revealed to the Prophet of Islam over a period of 23 years, roughly around 23 years in Mecca and Medina. Whenever a verse was revealed, the Prophet would have one of his scribes write it down and narrate it back to him. Abu Bakr, the first caliph of the Prophet, commissioned Zayd bin Thabit, who was one of the scribes of the Prophet, to collect the Holy Quran, especially after the Battle of Yamama, to make sure that the Quran is preserved. Zayd was instructed by Abu Bakr for every verse that is collected, 2 witnesses have to be presented at least to testify for its authenticity and validity, so to ensure that the accuracy and pureness of the Holy Quran. And Zayd kept on doing this until he finalized the whole collection, and he kept it with himself, Zayd, until Abu Bakr died. And then after Abu Bakr, Umar, Caliph Umar, the second Caliph of Islam, came, and he took the Quran of Zayd, the Quran that Zayd bin Thabit collected, and he gave it to his daughter Hafsa. I'm sorry, I heard a voice.
1 minute. 1 minute. 55 seconds.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So after the Quran was passed to Hafsa, at that time, after the Caliph Umar kept it with Hafsa, Arabia was conquered, and the Persians and Romans were kicked out of Arabia, pretty much. And so what happened is, many copies of the Quran, were rushed into Arabia. And so, the Arabs had 7 dialects and 7 ways of writing Arabic.
20 seconds.
Just like in
20 seconds.
Like in English. Okay, and I'll get to this later. But just like in English, there are many ways to write words sometimes. And so the Arabs had many ways to write the Quran. And so when Uthman came, he collected those Qurans and he replaced them with Zayd's Quran, which was called Hafsa back then, which is now called Uthman's Quran.
Osama, thank you very much.
Yes,
your time has run out, so thank you for that opening statement. And we're going to give now Dr. Nabil Qureshi his opening statement, which is 5 minutes as well. And Dr. Qureshi, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Osama, so much for coming on today's show. I really appreciate it. Osama gave us a good background on the Quran and how it was collected. And I want to let you know that I personally believed in the Quran's perfect preservation myself throughout my childhood, throughout my young life, all the way up until the age of 22. I believe that the Quran was perfectly preserved, exactly how Allah wanted to reveal it to Muhammad is how it was passed down through Gabriel, and then Muhammad then gave it to his companions. And it was perfectly preserved in the form that we have today. And all of us read exactly what Allah had intended for us to read. That's what I had been taught, and that's what I believed. But then I started doing the research for myself. As Osama was getting to, at a certain point when Uthman was collecting the Qur'ans, he then decided to burn everything. After he felt that he had the entire Qur'an in his presence, in one good, accurate form, he burnt every other manuscript. Notice, everyone, pay attention. There is no possible way we can prove the perfect preservation of the Qur'an. Did you hear that? There's no possible way we can prove the perfect preservation of the Qur'an, because this cannot be traced back to Muhammad, to Muhammad's Qur'an, because everything before Uthman was burnt. There's no way to prove the perfect preservation of the Qur'an, but you can see if you can disprove it. Well, you might ask me, how's that? Well, if we see good reasons that this is not what Muhammad revealed, then this is not the perfectly preserved Qur'an. So you can't prove that it is